welcome to this video where we're going to be talking about voice notes and more particularly voice notes inside Peak Distinction. Now, as many of you know, Peak Distinction doesn't have a voice notes feature. I want to talk a little bit about why they don't have that particular feature and also whether voice notes are actually a positive or negative thing inside your online coaching business. So without further ado, let's go and take a look and find out more about voice notes in Peak Distinction. So before we begin, what are voice notes? So if you don't already know, voice notes allow the sender to record a short audio message and send it like you would a text message to the receiver. Now, of course, you can already send in-app messages, which are effectively text messages through PT Distinction. You can also send video messages through PT Distinction as well, but you can't currently send voice notes through PT Distinction. So are voice notes a great alternative to text messaging your clients? After all, you don't need to write anything. You can just open up your phone, record a message, and click send. But do voice notes actually have a place in your online coaching business? And if so, where and how should they be used? So let's take a look at some of the pros and cons of voice notes in relation to using them to coach your clients. So we're going to start with the pros. Most people have used voice notes before in their personal lives. So this means, like a text messaging, voice notes are nothing new to your clients, and they can have a bit more of a personal feel when they come across compared to text messaging. So sometimes when a client hears the coach's voice, it can help cement that relationship between the coach and the client. This personal touch is something many online personal training clients like, and it's also something that many online coaches like as well. Now, they are much more convenient for the sender. And that's the important thing here. They're more convenient for the sender. We'll get onto that in a bit more detail shortly. Now, voice notes are very easy to send. If you send a voice note, you can still continue to use your phone. You can do other things. They are much quicker to send compared to writing out a text message. And in some circumstances, they're much quicker than making a phone call. Now, voice notes also give an honest impression of what you're trying to say at the time. You can be more emotive, and you can be more spontaneous than you can with, say, text-based communication. But realistically, that's about where the pros stop for voice notes. So I want to take a look now at the cons when it comes to using voice notes inside your online coaching business. And here I'm talking particularly about running an online coaching business and coaching your clients online. So the biggest issue with voice notes in an online coaching business is they are much, much less convenient for the person receiving the voice note. Now, this doesn't matter whether it's the client receiving the voice note or the coach receiving the voice note. In the long term, they're going to cost you more in terms of time when it comes to coaching your clients. So yes, voice notes are very easy for the person sending them. It's just done in a way that makes it much more less convenient for the person receiving the message. So for the receiver, first of all, they have to be in a place where they can listen to the note. They may not want others to hear what the sender has to say, so they're going to have to put headphones in or go to a private place or wait until they're actually home or in a private place in order to listen to it. So like I said, the coaching client may not want other people to hear what's actually being said about them in their coaching program. Likewise, a coach can't really be in a public place to listen to a private message sent by their clients. You have no idea what that message actually contains. It could have some very personal information inside there, very private information inside there that you can't afford for other people outside of your business to hear. There might even be legal implications of other people outside of your business hearing that as well. Now, it also takes time to absorb. Longer notes may mean you have to listen to them more than once. So if you think about when you receive a voice message, if it's a few seconds long, it's a very quick note, okay, that's not too bad. But let's say if you are giving actually important information to your client or you're receiving important information to your client, you may have to listen to it once or twice in order to absorb that information from there. Now, we've become accustomed to actually scanning large amounts of text. So in comparison to voice note, it's generally easier to actually consume more information from text. We can do this very quickly in a very short period of time. Now, a voice message, you can't actually do that. You can't scan it very quickly. If a text pops up on your screen, you can very quickly tell whether it's urgent or not, or whether it's something you have to deal with. If the only clue is you have a picture of some indistinct sound wave that appears inside your app, then you don't really know whether you need to actually give your attention to that message or not. And you generally wait until you've got a spare minute to listen to it, which could be too late depending on what's coming across on that message. Now, this actually leads on to another issue with voice notes, referencing the content. Now, as I mentioned already, when a voice note is sent through to you, you have no idea to know what that voice note is about. which means if you want to reference back to it, it's very time consuming. Let's say your client has an issue, or they may be saying, oh, you didn't tell me about that in the past, or maybe something has happened inside their program. You need to reference back to what feedback you gave them 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. How are you going to do that if you sent them a voice note? Because the only way to actually find out what was sent is to go back and listen to every single voice note that has been sent, listen back to what feedback you gave them, and then use that to then give them more feedback to try and help them solve whatever problem it is they've got. Now, the information in voice notes as well is not very practical. Like, when it comes to a person actioning it, if you have a voice note that comes across and you want them to go and do something, it's just not practical at all. If a coach wants to use that information, they would actually need to transcribe it. So you're going to have to listen to that information first, then transcribe it, and then apply it however you need to apply it. If a client wants to implement this, they would also need to transcribe it or remember it, which, given how voice notes are used in society, being a quick personal thing that's sent over to a client, it isn't really like they're going to be able to remember this. So voice notes are great for quick updates that don't really contain any important information. I definitely wouldn't be using them for things like giving actual coaching feedback or anything like that. They're perfect, for example, let's say you're going to a session and you want to say, okay, I'm running a little bit late, maybe driving or something, leave a voice note, I'm running a little bit late for the session, I'll be another 5 minutes or something like that. Perfect for that kind of thing. But if you actually need any kind of practical information to be delivered to your clients, to be received by your clients, they're not very useful in that particular for that particular purpose. So in general, voice notes seem like a great tool and they're loved by many coaches and clients, but in reality, they really are quite impractical when it comes to your coaching business. Based on the pros and cons, voice notes should only really contain non-essential information that doesn't need to be referenced again in the future or applied in any other way by the coach or the client. Anything outside of this would mean more work for the receiver, whether that be the coach or the client, and can cause delays in that information being implemented, which is not ideal for your coaching programs that you're delivering to your clients. So voice notes seem like a good option, but when you take into account all of the above, they can have quite a negative impact on the growth of your online business, costing you more time in the long run, doesn't give you any data to improve your systems, and makes it harder for you to actually scale your business. So is there a way to have all these benefits of voice notes without the downside? Well, yes, we think they are. And what I want to do now is talk about how you can actually deliver a voice note style approach to your clients that actually has all the pros with very little of the cons when it comes to voice notes. I'm going to show you how you can do this inside Peak Distinction. This is something we've done at Peak Ninja a number of times for our Platinum Done For You clients, and all the data shows that it works very, very well. So with that in mind, let's go and take a look and see how to set this up. So here we are inside Peak Distinction on the desktop version of this. Now, first of all, before we actually get into the voice note side of this, many of you might be thinking, well, actually here on the desktop version of this, one of the advantages of voice notes is the convenience that we've talked about already. This convenience that you can pull out your app on your phone and you can maybe just record something and send it really, really quickly. Now, of course, you can do what I'm talking about here on your phone as well. You can log in as a trainer into Peak Distinction on your phone. And the software we're going to use in order to send a kind of voice message, a voice note to your client is also available on your phone as well. Again, we'll talk about that in just a second. So you can do this on your phone. However, one thing I want to talk about this is this quick feedback. One of the things with voice notes is, and I mean this in the best possible way, they can make you kind of lazy. Because let's think about scalability of a business. If your business is reliant on your clients sending you information, maybe that's for a voice note, you having to listen to it and respond to it straight away, and it's not in a structured way. We've already talked about how you can't really structure a voice note in terms of feedback for your clients. There's no real way to do that. So what you're really doing is giving some information and sending it back that could be absorbed quickly like this, and then normally forgotten about and not implemented very, very well. So my point would be here, or my question would be here, if that's the approach you're taking inside your business to coach your clients, maybe there might be a better way of doing this. And one of the things that we see over at Peak Ninja all the time is batching works really well. If you want to create an online fitness business that's scalable, you need to be able to batch your check-ins. You need to be able to do this where you're not constantly on call all the time with your clients. And all voice notes do is portray that you're always there for them, giving these quick responses all the time. That's not really going to help your clients in the long term. Yes, they might feel like they actually like that. And because of that, you may want to deliver it in that way to them. But realistically, from a scalability point of view and actually getting long-term results for your clients, voice notes really don't have a place in terms of doing that. So one thing I'd recommend in terms of you doing your check-ins, especially if you're giving feedback in this way, is to batch your check-ins. And if you're batching your check-ins, what I'm about to show you here does become a lot easier. But like I say, you can also do this on your phone as well, and just do quick responses back to your clients. There are options to go and do it that way. I'm going to cover both in this, but it's just something I'd maybe mention or I wanted to mention inside this training. So what we're going to do here, well, first of all, we have the in-app messages. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do check-ins with your clients. We've done plenty of videos that in the past. If you want to copy that video, you can head over to the channel, or I can just pop a link somewhere around this training here to showing you how to run check-ins using PT Distinction with your clients. So I'm going to assume here you've gone through the check-in and you've done stuff and you want to now give some feedback to them. So you're giving feedback based on what they've sent through to you, what they've completed. And normally you would record a voice note and send it to them. Now, of course, you can also write up a message and send it to them if you want to as well, but that can be quite time consuming. And especially when it comes to data and the fact we have so much data inside here and all this imagery inside here for that client, it makes sense to try and show them this. So if you're on a desktop, you can actually show them this data and show them exactly how they're doing. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to use a video message. Now, I know you might be thinking, okay, I don't want to be sending a video message all the time. They have to see me. Well, yes, they might have to see you, but you can also use a software called Loom. That means all they do is see the actual screen. They don't have to see you if you don't want to see, but can still hear your voice. They can still visually see the data, and they're more likely to go and absorb that. So you're thinking, okay, yes, we could maybe send this video across. If we was just to upload a video inside the messages inside PTD, well, doesn't that have the same kind of issue as what voice notes have? If we're talking about just a video, all it really is a visual version of a voice note, because there's no way to reference to it. There's no way to go back to it. And that's also why I'm not a massive fan of actually just sending direct videos through to your clients in the in-app messenger. I think a direct video is perfect when you're on board a client. You can have something kind of personal inside there, quick video saying hi, and you can automate that as well, which is always a bonus. And also the video messaging inside the in-app messenger is also really good if you have multiple coaches, where you can onboard a client into your main master program, assign them to a coach, and they can have a group that automatically sends a little personal video from them to say, hi, welcome to the program. But generally speaking, that's kind of where I think video messaging should stop in terms of the video messaging inside PTD. I think outside of that, you want to be using something like Loom, because Loom will allow you to reference back to this really, really easily. And the way that works is if we head over to the Loom website on here, as you can see, in here, we can have lots of different videos. We can create new videos, and there's a little plugin you can install in your browser as well that allows you to record anything on the screen. So if we head over this way, I'm going to actually click my little Loom icon up here. You can see it opens this up, and it looks a little bit like this, where we can see what we're going to record, whether it's the screen or the camera. We can choose whether it's screen only or camera only. So if you don't want to be seen, you can do that. You can choose whether it's current tab or your full desktop. And also Loom is actually free as well, which is an absolute bonus. Now, there are paid versions of this that allow you to do some pretty cool things. But to be honest with you, in terms of giving feedback for your clients, I really wouldn't worry about any of that kind of stuff. If you're going to use it for marketing and things like that, then the paid version might be worth looking at. But generally speaking, I think just for general feedback, there's no real need to do that. Now, the advantage of here, you see, is we can actually now go and record this. If we go and record the screen, which I'm going to go and do now, so as we're talking away, a little countdown happens on the screen, and we can go and record about whatever we want to do. So we can look inside here, we can look at the daily tracking results from the clients, we can explain the data on here, give them some feedback on that. We can maybe look at their task completion, adherence, talk about that with them, and we can give them some direct feedback over maybe a couple of minutes inside a video. We can also respond to any messages they may have sent to us as well. Now, once we've done that, what we can actually do is when we stop the video, it takes you through to another page. And inside here, you can actually put some information at the bottom. So you can reference to this. You could call this a weekly review. Inside here, put the date in. And you can even put some notes inside here for anything else that you might want to include. So this can either just be, you could say like a positive or a negative type of feedback. You can recap what it is you've actually talked about inside here as well. Now, once you've actually done that, all you need to then do is take this little icon here and you can copy the link. And then when you head back into your PTD account, all you need to do is go and send a message to your client, click on open chat, and I can drop this inside, and then you can drop in the link inside here for that as well if you want to. You can, like I say, you can even include a little recap of what it is you want to talk about inside here. And all this does basically is allow you to actually see and reference back to everything really, really quickly, because you've got some text content with that in there as well. And all you need to do is then go and click on that, and they can open that up, and then you can find all that information on Loom from that feedback for the client. There's no uploading of videos inside here. It's really, really quick to do. It gives that extra personal feel as well, and it is completely referenceable. And if you actually batch your time with your clients when you're doing feedback such as this, it just means that you're in a better position to actually scale your business should you want to. And it's something you can actually scale out to other coaches if they come in and work for you. So it does give you a lot more options when you kind of go down this route using something like Zoom to come and send messages. Now, the other advantage of Loom as well, that is an app, which means you can also do this on your phone. And if you want to do it on your phone, you can just do an audio version of it too. So you can do exactly the same thing, record it as an audio and send the link across. So you still have the option for referencing. You still have the option to come find things really, really quickly. There's no actual sending and uploading. Everything is organized. And again, it makes life a lot easier. So like I say, you can do voice notes with Loom. You can also do video ones, so video feedback. There's definitely a couple of things there I would think about when it comes to whether to use voice notes or not and how to actually use them. Like I say, for quick feedback, or for a quick response that's not really containing non-essential information about their program, they're okay for. But generally speaking, if you're giving feedback on your program, then you want to be using something a bit more substantial than just voice notes, because they're not very practical for delivering feedback in that particular way, especially in terms of scaling your online fitness business. Anyway, I hope that helps in terms of different ways of actually sending voice notes with video messages to your clients. As always, if you've got any questions whatsoever, please let us know in the comments, and I'll see you soon.